And ladies and gentlemen, we are off with our match. d2kemps versus Crrool. The uncle has exited. No sword, but a piece of art from Link's house. And as our players will be proceeding through this mandatory escape sequence, they will be looking for bombs for the back of escape and additional bombs to have for their pretty much always seen Kakariko visit following escape, and also plenty of rupees for the bottle merchant and potentially buying some additional bombs. We will see a fire rod start today. Always a highly appreciated item since it one-shots everything in the beginning. However, it doesn't give all that many opportunities for farming since you are limited by your magic. Fire rod also tends to be a required item in the seeds. Skullwoods and Turtle Rock always require the fire rod. And I'm pretty confident that Ganon's Tower required as well, but perhaps with some clever movement, you can get by using the lamp. You already see a little bit here of attempted farming for those bombs from Crrool, not getting it. Kemps opting to use some pots. And having good luck on the first one, and not on the second one either. There are a couple of small magic drops that you can pick up in some of these pots that will help our players as they move through. You see 5 arrow drop for Crrool, not what he's looking for at this point. And thanks to this fire rod's short work of the guard's bomb capacity upgrade is the wrong kind of bomb that our players are looking for right now. Getting a bomb capacity or 2 is quite nice to have as a safety backup, particularly difficult situations if you're perhaps struggling with the Ice Palace bomb jump, or just getting a few too many bomb pickups later if you find something that drops 8. Crrool is still opting to use the pot zero over the fire rod. He is a little bit low on magic. And Zelda is going to bring us an arrow capacity upgrade, not particularly useful. And with no hookshot, no boots, no mirror, this is a long walk back up to the castle entrance. And also, hello to everyone joining us over from the race that just occurred over on Speed Gaming. You're very welcome, and hopefully this seed will not be as cruel as that one, pun intended. At this point, neither the rupee count nor the bomb count are being particularly pleasant to our players, and Crrool continues to have no good luck on the drops. Crrool not opting to go back down to pick up that single rupee. And now entering the back of escape and upcoming the sewer area, Crrool's gonna pick up a little bit of magic here in a single rupee. That is quite significant considering the low rupee count. Still not interested in that fiver though. And with this low magic, not opting to try and kill some snakes either. Kemps has a little bit more magic. Just a piece of heart in the chest, so no luck at all in this escape. Both our players may have to backtrack here. They do have a little bit of magic left, but we will have to spend that to get this nasty little rat. It's pretty good for Crrool, they're getting 2 in 1, but no loot, of course. Crrool's kinda killed a few more rats there and hoping to get some bombs. Gets a 20 rupee, which is still very nice considering the low rupee count, but it's not the bombs he was looking for. And Kemps has no magic left, so he's also heading out. These kind of situations, it could be quite dependent on getting a good bomb or tree pool, or perhaps the crab up at Lumberjack, but those flippers in the sanctuary are quite nice item to find. It opens up a couple of item locations. Hobo is accessible, Waterfall of Wishing, Sora and the Sora Ledge. Of course, they're quite far away from actually getting enough Sora money at this point. And Crrool is taking the path up to Lumberjack. Some players opt to check it, some players decide not to. Personal preference, really, but in this situation with this low rupee count and this low bomb count gives some additional opportunity to find from tree poles and the crab. Tree pole, however, was garbage this time around, and the crab wasn't very better. Wow, this is a Crrool seed. And Lumberjack has 20 rupees. Oh, Kemps, however, gets that bomb pull. 4 bombs for him. Green pennant, vanilla location, another pennant down in desert, and a regular crystal it looked like up in Tower of Hera. Our forest check of today, 20 rupees. Crrool a little bit with some hesitation there, but he's gonna pick up those 20. He just needs 2 more rupees, and he can actually buy bombs in Kakariko. Oh, only 1 more rupee now, counting this down to 50. Okay, we don't need to count anymore. And Kemps here getting 4 more bombs, up to 8. We'll feel very safe as long as he can dodge that bird. Since he's down to 1 heart, has to be a little bit careful. Crrool will be our first player entering Kakariko, but he has to make a bit of a longer route here since he doesn't have any bombs. And here's a Moon Pearl at the back of Bazaar. It doesn't open up anything right now. They're still looking for additional items to get a Dark World access, but that's always a required item. Crrool is hopping immediately into the shop to buy some bombs. There's also always some worry with super early Dark World access can make seeds very difficult to route. Basement here with blind, 2 pieces of hearts in our first 2 chests, and that's a full refill, 20 rupees. Followed by our first Sword of the Seed, as Crrool's gonna pick up the magic powder. No hammer yet for that Batcave check, possibly coming later on. 50 rupees for our Kemps, and now the rupees are starting to roll in. As Crrool is now making his trip into the basement, Kemps is moving into the well. And I've seen some seeds where it almost feels like the Hype Cave has migrated over to this well. Sometimes you get bombs. And a pretty certain vanilla heart piece in the back. Mail upgrade, however, is always nice to find. Another big heart. As you see, it's definitely moving into the safe territory. Bomb capacity upgrade not very valuable at this point. 6 seeds blue mail. Feels quite safe 10 minutes into the run. And the bottle merchant gives a piece of heart. Now players just routing through what the other players already seen in here. Except for this little chicken hut. I've been seeing fewer and fewer attempted chicken clips as this powder was picked up. Actually, how did I already forget about the powder? Okay, my bad. We'll be moving down to the library soon enough. See if there's anything of value there before checking up the race game, and almost certainly going to be a save and quit at this point. Likely only the hammer would make them stay, since they could immediately go ahead and check that cave. A library doesn't really have all that much literacy as the bomb capacity upgrade. And Kemps is going to make the check first on the race game. And hope that there is something of value there. A big heart, he is not interested in that. And what will Crrool do? Crrool is going through. And to South Shore we go. This is the most natural progression that you see in the seeds. Escape, Kakariko, South Shore heading east into the Hylia Cave, into Ice Rod Cave, and then after that attempted fake flipper, but in this situation could just be a regular flipper. The rupee count is the only worrying point at this moment. Far from being able to check Sora. It's a good thing they're finding all these bombs now that they've left Escape. They will have to go back to the back of Escape at some point. It is doable, but it is a long walk and likely not all that high of a priority right now. Just a piece of heart. Kemps is not interested in picking up that. Thankfully, Kemps has picked up plenty of bombs, so throwing one away is perfectly fine. And the mini Moldorms are taking off after their big brother, sister. I don't know which gender Moldorm has, actually. It's gonna be our first medallion of the day in Quake. 3 bombs. Wait, what? Is this the medallion cave suddenly? With the ether as well, a single green rupee and a piece of heart. So that's 2 of 3 medallions already. Does leave the potential that Bombos could be in a rather bizarre location coming up, but having 2 medallions out of the way is always a great feeling for upcoming Myra Turtle Rock plays. Unless both of them turns out to be pendants. We don't know that yet. There is 1 pendant, however, in the Dark World. And Kemps making the long trip over to Ice Rod Cave. It's a long way to walk. But you pretty much have to do this trip anyway. Crrool is opting for a little bit of a diversion here, taking the flippers first to check out Lake Hylia. We do see our first shield up on the island. And the hookshot in Ice Rod Cave. Now that, much like a lot of our other items, doesn't actually unlock any item locations at this point, but the hookshot is also always a required item in order to beat the game. And of course, the hookshot is very nice to have for that overworld navigation. 5 rupees from the hobo. And the Crrool has to head back to Ice Sword Cave and get that item soon enough. And at this point, unless they do find something valuable, it seems quite likely our players will be checking Sahasrahla into Eastern. Having the hookshot lets you skip one room in Eastern Palace. But Crrool is not making this trip over to Ice Rock Cave, and this is going to hurt him a little bit. Taking out the Waterfall of Wishing and finding the Master Sword. That means we're a lamp away from Aga 1. You get 20 rupees, but a lot more rupees than that to check Sora. Kemps is not taking up that choice to move to the Sora region, and it's making the play to Sahasrahla instead. The hammer, however, is on the Sora ledge. Now, this seed took a very wild turn with that hammer, because Lamp or Gloves are now both Dark Will access. And Crrool having this hammer, while Kemps have the hookshot, gives not that big of a difference. There's the lamp, so that is actually Aga 1 access once our players decide to actually check out each other's route. But it does also open up one item location in Eastern. I'm pretty certain both our players are comfortable doing those dark rooms regardless. Crrool is now making the trip over to Sahasrahla. So at this point we will have Dark Will access through Aga 1, but you imagine both our players will try and maximize the number of item locations to check to avoid that and hopefully find the gloves. And Kemps will be making his trip through this green pendant Eastern Palace. No bow, but can check all the other item locations. We'll get 2 to 3 items. And there's our first bottle of the day with a bee inside of it. So that means Sickhead is now in Logic. So our big difference already this early on, the hookshot from Ice Rock Cave for Kemps, while Crrool has that hammer and the Master Sword both over at the Sora region. Of course, Sora himself has not been checked because rupees aren't a thing apparently in this seed thus far. There's still the possibility to get the 2 additional items here in Eastern, if the stars align. Kemp's not quite getting the throws there, so has killed 1 additional skeleton. It's a really good place to find the big key, since you don't have to go all the way around of the checking the final chest, which he still will check because there could be an item there. And here's our first cane of the day, the Cane of Berna, or sometimes the Lanola's cane after that one famous seed. Not required, but in the terms of logic, places like Spike Cave and Laser Bridge and Turtle Rock are unlocked by it. Players usually go through those anyway. Kemps having this 1 final item location to check. Crrool having the Master Sword. Gets to do some slashes to take down the enemies a little bit faster. And our final chest is the map, so with that green pendant there are 2 items remaining in Eastern. And we are running out of item locations here. We have Aegina's Cave, Sora, and then I guess it's forced into Aga 1 if there is nothing on those two places. But if a Genius Cave doesn't have 300 rupees, are you going to farm for Sora? Or are you just going to do Aga 1 anyway? The combination that our players will have with the hammer hookshot, assuming Crrool heads over to Ice Rock Cave and picks it up, will give them access to the western part of the Dark World. I have seen seeds in the past where players had to farm some 200-300 rupees to go check Sora to get the Moon Pearl or something along those lines. So it has happened before, but when you're given the opportunity or the choice of doing that or doing Aga 1, you may as opt to do Aga 1 regardless and just hope that there isn't going to be 10 blue balls. Or you're a Crrool and you're going to make the play right now, or you're going to check the back of Escape first, because we still haven't seen those 3 items back there. I keep on forgetting them because neither of our players had bombs. Genius gave us at the bug net. Some people like to say that points to Aga 1, but in actuality it just points towards you want to catch fairies if you feel like it. The best item for Crrool back here is definitely a glove upgrade or 300 rupees. He has already been at Sora region though, but what he really needs is to head over to Ice Rock Cave and get the hookshot. Kemps is now going to pick up his Master Sword and Hammer over at the Sora region. Besides that, when the Dark World access is reached, our players do have the blue mail sitting on 6 to 7 hearts. Not the safest, but not the worst in the world. And of course, having the hammer makes Thieves Town quite lucrative since you don't have to worry about the big chest. Well, Crrool, what have we got for you back here? The map, of course, 3 bombs, and the flute? Well, that flute changes a lot of things because that's Death Mountain access, but he does not have the hookshot to check the eastern parts. So, in terms of logic, that's just going to give him 2 items. He still needs that hookshot. Now that hookshot, more than ever, is incredibly important. Crrool is making the trip to activate said flute. It's a really interesting opening with such varied items on our players. In Kemps, let's hope that he has remembered the back of Escape so that he will be able to get his flute. And with the combination of flute, hookshot, hammer means that Tower of Hera is not only accessible, but guaranteed to be beaten thanks to the lamp. This is quite the roundabout way. Crrool also found his first bottle, and he's gonna get a lot of love from the sick kid. And Crrool is heading up to Death Mountain, and Kemps is gonna have his flute soon. And with the help of that hookshot, we'll be able to check those eastern locations. It's just a matter of when Crrool returns to this Ice Rock Cave to get his hookshot. Having the flute makes the trip a bit faster, because he can just flute to 8 and then take the short trip up. Maybe he gets the boots here from the old man to help him even more. Now he's gonna get the Sora money. That's pretty silly that you get the Sora money here and you needed to go to Sora in order to get the hammer, in order to get access to the eastern area. This dude is just throwing them all over the place. And Kemps is taking a Death Warp? is... okay, sure. Bomb capacity upgrade inside of Spectacle Rock. And 20 rupees on top of it. I think Kemps just thought that he was going to do Aga 1, but then, no, I'm not going to do that. Had a change of heart. And that is good, because there is a possibility that glove upgrade is over on East Death Mountain. And Crrool is going to pick up his bug net. Kemps is going to activate his flute. I'm just gonna handle this over to my glass of water so you get to listen. And with his flute, Kemps has a pretty straightforward play up on Death Mountain. And now Crrool will get his hookshot. A lot of items in some very thrown about areas with the flute back in of Escape, the hookshot in Ice Cave, the hammer at Sora, the lamp at Sahasrara. All over the place. And then there's Kakariko. Kemps now can exactly afford Sora and will likely get 20 rupees back for it, or a bomb capacity upgrade or something along those lines. And as both our players' routes have been brought together, they are extremely close at this point. There's a good amount of items over here on Eastern Death Mountain, and thanks to the hammer, having access to Tower of Hera means the first crystal. Starting off here with the 2 caves in a Paradox Cave, having a total of 7 items. Starting off with just an air capacity upgrade and 3 bombs. And as the mini Moldorms collapse, a bomb is thrown and chests will be opened. Another big heart, and well, they're removed. Any doubt of a potential medallion screwing up our players has now been removed, and 10 arrows, and a piece of heart, and another piece of heart. That's all 3 medallions in under 30 minutes. And surprisingly enough, all 3 medallions in caves related to mini Moldorms. And the Crrool, I have a little bit of an issue here with the enemies not behaving the way he wants to. He did not get this bomb jump that Kemps will get. We do still have Spiral Cave here. Of course, Tower of Hera is likely going to be checked first. Big bomb capacity upgrade up on that island. Now, players here are definitely in sync and will likely take the same route until we get that fabled Dark World access. Will they find the glove? Or will they have to do Aga 1? We will find out soon. We will, however, find the big key already. This little small chest here with our first item for Tower of Hera. It's another arrow capacity upgrade. It's a good spin there for Kemps, getting 2 in 1. And at this point, the only thing that could cause a big time difference between our players, that is entirely up to Moldorm. Of course, we still do have Sora left because neither player had money when they went over there and got the hammer and the Master Sword. There's our compass. And there's our small key, so it's a 50-50 here. Kemps attempting this bomb jump across does not quite get it. It's a very difficult bomb jump to do. Moldorm is fan favorite, possibly for all the wrong reasons. You have access to both the Master Sword. Yeah, that's why no one likes Moldorm. Barely even got the fight started and you already got knocked down. Kemps gets 1 spin in, that's the second spin. We need getting 1 more. You see, that's how Moldorm is supposed to go. And that's just the map, so there's an item in the basement. So we will take a little bit of a break as Kemps is likely going to check out that. And Crrool gets a very nice refight. And both our players here with their first crystal is a couple of seconds apart, a little bit more than 30 seconds. And Kemps is setting up this Death Warp. And the reason he's doing this is because he's planning to take the Death Warp, go back up to the entrance, and then, once he's back at the entrance, make the short trip over into Spiral Cave. Again, still have to be a little bit careful here since he is down to 1 heart. And just a big heart. Oh no, that's a Sand heart. Are you kidding me? All that work that Kemps set up and all ruined. The only item that could ruin that. Often you tend to appreciate when you get the Sand card, but that's one of those moments where you're just extremely frustrated. And Crrool is making the decision to just walk back up. And Kemps still managed to get his Death Warp, not as effective as he wanted it to be. And he's heading over to Spiral Cave. So after spending a lot of time waiting for the tiles, you can spend a lot of time waiting to go around in circles. Kemps takes his fall. Opens the chest and gets a red potion. That's his second bottle of the run. Kemps do have some item locations here to check. But we are running out of options here to try and avoid this AGA 1. And our players have tried really hard to avoid it. We do have the Bat and we do have Sora. Crrool, however, has decided, I'm not dealing with that. I'm just going to do AGA 1. I'm tired of this. He's also short of rupees from Sora, so he technically only has one item available in that case. And if Kemps doesn't find the gloves, this is the better play. The Bat will bless Kemps this day with more love. But Kemps here is picking up hearts, so he may be skipping out on Sora for now and has also just decided that I'm just gonna do AGA 1. Yeah, he's also just making the trip to AGA 1. Crrool gets the double spin on the ball and chain guards. So this is a forced AGA 1 because they haven't found any gloves. But because they have the hook shot, as well as both flippers and hammer, only one is necessary, they do technically have full access to the Dark World. A little bit awkward to route it and quite slow since you don't have the boots, but it's doable. We could possibly see something along the lines of do AGA 1, get the pyramid item, and then head straight down and do Hype Cave. Players are going to feel very confident in the Dark World still, with 11 hearts and blue mail, as well as Master Sword, Hammer, and invulnerability in form of Cane of Burna. Crrool opting to use the Fire Rod very effectively. The guards are being annoying as per usual when they aggro you. We have players of this skill level. Doing this tower is pretty straightforward, and AGA 1 is not a particularly hard boss fight. It's just a question of how many blue balls will I get today? So I guess you can take your guesses right now. And I'll guess 3, because I always guess 3. Kemps is not too far behind. Crrool is entering AGA, and the first hit on every cycle is or can never be a blue ball, so 2 on 2 already. That was a perfect first cycle there with 4 hits, and now that I've said that, I've jinxed it, most likely. Wow, 0 blue balls, AGA 1. It's the time where you were wishing you were playing NMG. Do you see a pendant down in Swamp? And that was a sword upgrade, I think, on the pyramid. And the 5-6 crystals were both Mire and Thieves Town. So both Mire and Turtle Rock are required. Of course, no worries about those medallions because all three have been acquired already. Kemps has finished off Aga 1, and Crrool is making this trip down to the Hype Cave. Five items in the Hype Cave got its name from the spring tournament last year, where it usually had 3 major items in it. Nowadays, you tend to get stuff like 50 rupees, or 20 rupees, or a bomb capacity upgrade, or 10 arrows, or 3 bombs. Hype Cave is not sure what it wants to be in this version of the logic. Kemps is skipping out on this for now and is making the trip over to the west side of the Dark World. And interestingly enough, Crrool is not interested in checking old Stumpy or the digging game right now. No mirror, can check the ledge. No cape, can check bumper cave. But Skull Woods is beatable, and it's a crystal. And of course Catfish can't be checked because you need a glove upgrade for that. Now where are those gloves? It's not on Bumper Cave. Kemps is opting for the Skull Woods check first. Fully clearable, having the Fire Rod. You only need Fire Rod and a sword to beat Mothula. And when you know you can go straight to Mothula, just going to the back immediately, kill Mothula and check the items in the reverse order tends to be a more favored strategy. It's very close with that hand. Crrool, however, is doing the standard path of just checking the item locations immediately, finds the big key in the first chest. Kemps finds our first item, being 20 rupees, gets grabbed by the hand, which is what he wants. And Crrool has found the lovely map. Could still be one item here in the back for Kemps, which would actually be very good for him since he already found the first one. And this chest here for Crrool is always a small key. Crrool finds another small key. He did find that big key, so we will see if there's something in the big chest today. Kemps is lighting the torches, and there's a small key, so both items in the back. Kemps already found the first one. Kemps try to hit the Gibdo into the spike, because the spike will actually damage the enemies if you hit them into it. At least that Gibdo. Don't know about the rest of the enemies. Kemps doing our Mothula fight of the day. Mothula, of course, does not take damage from the spikes because of how Mothula is programmed. That was a really good fight for Kemps, as he's gonna get his second crystal. And the compass, which does mean that the remaining item is in that entrance chest in the back. Two crystals at about 45 minutes for Kemps as he goes back in to collect his second item in Skull Woods. And Crrool is not too far behind. Kemps is just gonna find a piece of heart. So nothing in Skull Woods. And just another Death Warp. Having no mirror means you have to do that. Crrool did have a little bit more problems with Mothula, but had the backup potion just in case, and will take the Moth down and take home his second crystal. In this situation, we're still looking for a fair amount of items. We need both glove upgrades. We need a bow. We need a cane. And of course the Ice Rod. Who can forget Ice Rod? The mirror is technically not required in the seed because Swamp is a pendant, but chances are you tend to find the mirror at some point anyway. Kemps opens up his Village of Outcasts check here with the Sea House, finds 20 rupees. Over to the chest game. Crrool is soon going to get his second item in Skull Woods. 20 rupees for the chess game. And Kemps is making the trip into Thieves Town. He will still have the Bobbable Hut left in Thieves Town, or in Village of Outcasts, but may opt to route that in with a South Darkwell check with the digging game into Old Stump into Hype Cave. And our first item in Thieves Town is that big heart. Crrool is making the same trip. There are very little choices for our players in this situation. You could go into Palace of Darkness, but do you really want to go into Palace of Darkness where you can full clear a crystal dungeon? Not really. It's an early map. And 20 rupees, so 2 items for Thieves Town in the first 4 chests. Chest game for Crrool is going to give him his 20 rupees. He's gonna pick up the small key here, not taking the backup heart. And Crrool is joining Kemps right behind him. Kemps is taking his tour through the Hellway. The hookshot's truly a marvelous item to have in that room. The main thing that does separate our players at this point is Crrool making that small trip over to Hype Cave and finding garbage, really. It's a bomb capacity upgrade for Kemps. It's going to take out the bomb and throw it to get the light to go down. Thieves' Town is one of our 2 pyramid fairy crystals in this sea, the other one being Misery Mire. It does increase the priority of the crystals a little bit, but considering the lack of options our players have, and Thieves' Town being a crystal in any situation, you still tend to go into Thieves' Town regardless. And no gloves means that Kemps does have to kill the enemies in this room in order to get through. And these are really late gloves, Kemps almost getting knocked down there. Getting past 50 minutes and still haven't found our first pair. The stun price of the day is a little heart. Kemps getting some nice refills here and finds the compass. And no small key, so the small key should be in the big chest. Yeah, Kemps, you do not have the small key, you can't go there. Oh yeah, that's right, you don't have the gloves. Wow, I'm just a lousy commentator, I don't know anything. That does mean that Blind has an item, because I'm pretty certain we've seen both the map and the compass. Blind is one of those fights that when you know what you're doing, it's really easy. When you don't know what you're doing, it's really hard. Blind's movement is completely based on your own positioning. Each phase requires 3 hits, and there are 3 phases. And with our current heart count, as well as the Cane of Burna, just in case, it's not gonna have any problems. Blind goes down for Kemps as it's a 3rd crystal and more love. Kemps still has the tour, as to speak, without the frog, with the bombable hut, starting off with that. Sora is still available, because neither player had 500 rupees when going there. Ten arrows in the bombable hut. Crrool is making his trip back up and will soon be fighting Blind. Kemps will be doing this digging game into Old Stumpy, into Hype Cave. He can then keep that route going into Palace of Darkness. We are running low on item locations at this point, so it is a possibility that a trip into Pod is required. A big heart from the dig. Crrool doing this blind fight. Just need one more hit. There we go. I don't think dying is going to be any problem for our players in this run, unless some of them will attempt to do a death warp at some point in the future. Already seen 2 death warps. Well, there's our mirror. That's a very convenient location to find the mirror. And now Swamp is open and fully beatable, but it's a pendant. Why, Seed? Why? We got 20 rupees in K45. Kemps is having some fun with the mirror. Crrool's gonna make this same trip here himself. Graveyard Ledge is also now in logic thanks to that mirror. Both our players here are extremely close to one another, as the sidekid has already been checked by Crrool, and he is going to get his mirror now. Once the guard stops being a bother. So again, where are those gloves? Still looking for the gloves. And Kemps is gonna make the trip into Swamp. Fully beatable, but it's a pendant onion. There's 6 items here, but it's pretty long. Still, making the trip into Swamp in this situation, because you don't have the gloves, you need to take the dark portal via the castle and then walk down across the cave. It's quite the trip, so going back into Swamp is gonna take a lot of time. So in terms of its routing, this makes a lot of sense. But it's not every day you get to see players go into Pendant Swamp. Less than 1 hour. But it looks like Crrool is making the same call. Kemps is going to find 50 rupees as our first of 6 items in this dungeon. The only true worry here is to hope that neither of our players will flood the key. We are running out of item locations. Swamp, Pod, Sora is still in logic. I think I and a lot of other people will keep on mentioning that Sora until it happens, if it ever does happen. Kemps will be starting off here with this bottom chest. And it's a really good location to find that big key. And that's just going to be our 3rd bottle. It is a blue potion, which is nice. It's not quite what our players are looking for. So the entire Sora area was checked, but neither player had enough money for Sora. And if Sora has a glove upgrade, that means that Aga 1 was not required, but both our players opted to do Aga 1 instead. As we can see, Kemps is going to start off by taking this trip over to the west side to get the 2 items. He's not looking to get the pendant because There's no reason at this point, just needs to find as many items as possible, but Crrool is making a diversion here and is heading to the deeper parts first. This could indicate that if he finds something over here, he may not be checking the left side. Kemps takes the fall. And there's our mushroom, so that's a fetch quest. Okay. So that's an additional item in the logic. And a piece of art. So there are 2 items over on left side. A nice full refill. Crrool's gonna find the map and the compass in the same room. Crrool does know that there are 2 items over on the left side. There's another heart. So far, unless Argus decides to have anything, this mushroom could be the key. Argus is a pretty straightforward fight. Hook shot, swing with your sword, tier 3 and above sword means you only need a single hit. And these Argai will die very fast. Last one will fall, and is opting to use spins over Fire Rod on the second phase. And you only need 2 spins. It's gonna be Crrool's first pendant, but more importantly, the gloves. That was a really long journey to finally get the gloves. Almost 1 hour and 3 minutes. But are those our first gloves? Where are the mitts? We still need to find those mitts somewhere. Crrool is heading back in to check the left side. That's going to give him his mushroom. Now, what does the gloves actually open up for players? Catfish? Spike Cave? Those are the 2 that comes on top of my head. Kemps is also picking down the Argai one by one. And left with Argus. Kemps gets his gloves. And now we will see where he decides to go with that newly found pair. I'm gonna start with a mirror. This could just be a simple save and quit since he does have the mirror, but he's taking out the flute. And back to Village of Outcasts. The thing is, as he's making the trip back here, he hasn't been here with the mirror either. And as stated earlier, Graveyard Ledge is available. Crrool still here on the left side. Will soon have his 2 items. Most notably that mushroom. And there is Crrool's mushroom. Kemps is taking this trip here through the woods to get over to the eastern area, likely for that Graveyard Ledge. and route that into Catfish, mirror over, and finally check Sora. Possibly making a pod visit with this, but you still don't really want to go into a crystal dungeon you can't beat. It could be that a trip into pod is still required for maybe not the bow, but the mitts. It's gonna be the graveyard ledge from Kemps. But Crrool is heading straight to Catfish. Of course, can also mirror over here with this mushroom. Just an air capacity upgrade at the graveyard ledge. Crrool says goodbye to his mushroom, takes the portal, and will soon be able to pick up his reward. Well, both gloves in swamp. What do you know? Did get some gloves from the mushroom after all, and now we have true confirmation. Aga 1 was required. No gloves on Sora. Crrool is still heading there. Well, well, well. And those mitts. Now we have Ice Palace in logic. And of course, Dark Death Mountain. Now we can see which medallion we need to Turtle Rock. Oh, wait, just kidding. But there's still 6 items up there. Super Bunny Cave has 2, Hookshot Cave has 4. Catfish is gonna throw away some arrows. Crrool says nope. Does seem like Pendant Swamp was the play in this seed. And of course with that flute mitts combination, Mire is open, not beatable because no cane. Desert is available and possibly beatable depending on boots. That is a pendant. The mitts have suddenly opened up a lot of possible choices. That's not the worst ripoff from Sora, but you kind of wanted those 300 rupees to be in a waterfall of wishing instead. And Crrool is making the trip over to Dark Death Mountain. Let's see if he's gonna take this with a Spike Cave check as well. And we will see if Kemps decides to follow this, or if he has something else in mind. We are still looking for Bow, Ice Rod, and Cane of Samaria at this point. Possibly Boots, because Big Key on Torch and Ganon's Tower is a thing. And the thing is also that when you see those rupees there from Sora, you know there were no gloves there, so you know your opponent guaranteed had to do Aga 1 as well. Or there was some other possible item there, like the bow. And it looks like Kemps is making a trip into Ice Palace. Crrool is gonna find an air capacity upgrade and the Ice Rod in Super Bunny Cave. You can write that one off the list, but that item doesn't unlock anything until the Cane of Samaria is found. And because that item is so close to Turtle Rock, it's not really in a location that Kemps isn't going to check. And our red mail here in the Hookshot Cave. Joined by some more love. This has been a true love seed. With some more rupees. And a little bit of more love. There is no reason for Crrool to check Turtle Rock at this point because he has all the medallions. There's still Spike Cave. He's taking the mirror out. Kemps will soon open his first chest in ice. Let's find the map. Crrool is just flying back to 8. Okay, so he's making the trip. No, he's waiting for the flute again. So he's headed to the mire area instead. Kemps is gonna take his fall in ice. Crrool is entering this mire shed. A well-placed bomb and toss allows you to pick up both style foes in one hit. 5 rupees for Crrool, gonna be followed by more love. Wow, 16 hearts for Crrool. And Kemps now has to set up this bomb jump. And as he's doing his best to do that, Crrool is gonna find 20 rupees in Checkerboard Cave. And good job on Kemps managing to get over. One spin is all you need to take down all of those Pengators. I don't remember what was on the desert ledge, but it can't have been anything important. I do believe Aegina was the bug net. Or where was the bug net? Could have been there. Kemp's gonna find a small key, and with that he's gonna make a little bit of a route diversion here. When you do get that small key, it opens up this eastern lucrative part of the dungeon. Crrool has picked up his small key after finding 3 bombs on the torch. Crrool's gonna find a big key here in the eastern side. Kemps with another small key. Here's the map for Crrool. Just found the map. Not the compass, there is one item left. It could be in the big chest. It's the bone capacity upgrade for Kemps. Crrool's gonna open up this big chest and realize that Lanmolas has an item. So that Molas has an item. Armos has an item, and Armos is the green pendant. Of course, those 2 items are not available because our players still don't have the bow. Kemps has located the big key, and will not be rewarded by that. Kemp still has a few locations left to check here in ice. And ice may be a crystal, but in most situations you will always prefer to go mode it, because you save a lot of time by going through it in go mode. In this situation though, it's a pretty straightforward play, because it's the only crystal dungeon you can do. Crrool is opting to make some other decisions here to check out some lesser valuable areas in that regard. Kemp's just gonna find 20 rupees. Crrool's gonna opt for Fire Rod strats. Lanmolas is gonna opt to be very mean. Second is down, and the third is also down. And what item does Lanmolas have in store for us? It's technically a major item, but no one really cares about the red boomerang, unless you have some very specific strategies that you like to use it within Ganon's Tower. And Skullwoods is already done, so those aren't an issue. That is Crrool's second pendant. Will there be something on the pedestal? We don't know. No book to check it, and even then, can't beat Eastern without that bow. Kemps opting to use the bombos for the first phase of Cold Stare. And Crrool is also gonna make his dip now into ice. It's a good first swing there with the sword to almost get them into the corner, but still gets two of them very quickly. We'll be able to take down the third and final Cold Stare. And with that, Kemps will be rewarded with 20 rupees, so nothing in ice either. We still have Spy Cave, I guess. No dip into Palace of Darkness yet. See where Kemps opts to go now. The Mire area, Mire Desert, is quite logical, it's the most possible items. He can go into Mire for two potential items, even though he can't beat it. Would you rather go into Mire when you can't beat it, or go into Pod when you can't beat that? There's more items in Pod. And Mire is Mire. And thank you in chat pointing out the entire blacksmith chain. That is true. We could go for a Frog Well tour. The tour may be done, but the flute will at least allow the frog to enjoy the scenery from the sky. Not so sure how the duck manages to carry that as well, though. Crrool almost getting that bomb jump on the first try. Gets it very nicely on the second try. And Crrool is just sitting here, 16 hearts, red mail, Cane of Berna. It's just a matter of can he die, and I think the answer is no. It will be interesting to see if Kemps is going through with Lanmolas as well. We do know that there is nothing in desert, there is nothing in ice, and we're looking for the bow and the cane. For go mode, Eastern has been checked apart from Armos. No dip into Pod. Dark Death Mountain has been checked, the Ice Rod was there, and the red mail. Kemps is going through into Lanmolas. Technically, we're also still looking for the silver arrows. Assuming I mean, that depends entirely on how comfortable our players feel with doing silverless cannon. And also, of course, if the cannon's tower big key is on the torch, you do need the boots. And the only ones hoping for that are some very specific people in our chat. Then Molas is down for Kemps. It's a very nice fight. He gets his red boomerang and his red pendant. Kemps heads back into this dark world. Crrool is trying to get through these ice physics. Kemps nopes out of the 20 rupees in checkerboard. And is this a play into Mire? This looks like a play into Mire. I can confirm this looks like a play into Mire. And he kills the bird. No worries, it's Quake. So there are 2 items inside of Mire, but he cannot beat this dungeon unless the cane is one of those 2 items. It sort of makes sense for him to go here, since he's already here and he's already done ice. Crrool gets his 20 rupees from Colster, was a pretty good fight for him. Is he also going to make a play to Mire? Or does he have something else in mind? Going through with the Smiths, making a dip into Pod. Spy Cave is still available. I guess Spy Cave is the new Sora at this point. That's a really good position for that big key to be. Too bad you cannot go mode a dungeon. Oh, the cane is actually inside of Mystery Mire. This was the decision for Kemps, and he is going straight to the back. He's still looking for 1 item, but Vitreous could have that item. With Cane, the Ice Sword is up on Dark Death Mountain. He can go straight into Turtle Rock and beat that, but he still needs to find the bow for Palace of Darkness. And Crrool is making the trip to rescue the frog. He needs to get the bow from this chain at this point. So at this point, the only possibility for the pedestal is if the pedestal is the boots, and you need that big key on the torch in Ganon's tower. Which feels extremely unlikely at this point. But hey, this is Randomizer, anything can happen. Kemps will soon be on Vitreous, that's cool. Checked out the hammer pegs and didn't find anything. All the boots from the Smiths! Okay, what's in Bonk Rocks? What's in King's Tome? And now we can say the pedestal is dead. Truly 100%. Kemps trying to get these tempered swings in on Vitreous, but having a little bit of problem doing it. Down to one heart, has to be careful. He does have that blue potion, likely going to use it. And out with the cane and just slash to your heart's content. And here's the chest for Crrool. A few more slashes on the giant eye. And down goes Vitreous. Do you have the second item for Mire? No, you don't. You just have a small key. There is still one item left in Mire. And the lunchbox with a piece of heart for Crrool, but did get those boosts. And he can combine this with a check into the graveyard ledge, because I'm pretty certain he didn't go there when he went over to Catfish. He took the pyramid path instead. Or the house check. The Link's house check. Kemps has also unlocked 2 items here from the Pyramid Fairy. We'll be starting off here with the Bonk Rocks. Bonk Rocks has the boot! The boots are required to get the bow, and it's from the Smiths! Oh, good lord! We are in no mode! What just happened? And now Crrool is going over to Pod! And he may clear Eastern and get nothing! He may even check the pedestal before going into Mire, and there's... I mean, if Silvers is on the pedestal, I guess it works out for him, but wow! There is no way of telling how this seed is going to end. Because Kemps is likely going to go into Turtle Rock after he's found his second item in Mire. But Crrool can still route all of this much faster because he's gonna have this earlier boots. If he can open the tome, I don't think the king wants to be disturbed today. So Smiths had the boots and the bow was in Bonk Rocks. And there's 100 rupees that the king was buried with, and all of this hidden behind both gloves being in Swamp. Kemps is still looking for this second item in Mire. Here's the thing. Crrool, guaranteed, will be able to go mode Mire, and we know the Cane and the Big Key are in extremely convenient locations. And Crrool will also be able to go mode Turtle Rock, and then head straight into Ganon's Tower. Some advantages that he will have, but he is very likely going to full clear Eastern, or full clear and full clear, there's only the boss left. This is an extremely close race that we have here. And here's another thing here for Kemps, that he has to go this very long way over here and even wait for these torches here and relight them. And then wait for the 15 to 20 second long cutscene. Just to get the second item. At this point, it could simply be whose route yields the silver arrows that could determine who wins. 50 rupees, even a bow-locked pod? Are you kidding me? You could still use the bow glitch, but come on! It's a good thing neither of our players went in here when they had the opportunity to do so and instead opted to do Swamp. Or in Kemp's position to head into Mire, but he's just gonna find 5 rupees as the second item. So Kemps needs to do the smiths to get the boots, to get the bow. He also needs to head up to Death Mountain and get the ice rod. Crrool needs to enter Mire to get the cane. Crrool's gonna find 2 small keys here on the east side and opt to use the mirror. It's a very good item to have as you're routing through pod. And Kemps with the expected plane to Turtle Rock, which is fully clearable. He doesn't have the ice roll, but he's gonna get the ice roll on the way. Crrool is gonna trade a small key for a small key. Standard pod. And look, another small key. I feel like I've seen this before. And of course, both our players had all 3 medallions after about 30 minutes, before they even had Dark World access. It's never any contest of whether or not those medallions would be required or not, or which one they had to look for, because they always had all 3 available to them. Oh, and Crrool's gonna take a fall on the bridge and has to reset the room. Kemps has opened up Turtle Rock, and as long as he checks out Super Bunny Cave, which he's doing right now, he's gonna have the ice rod. And there is Kemp's ice rod. Now, instead of the Hookshot Cave, there is that red mail. Not really required for him since he's sitting on 16 hearts. Crrool has found the big key. And hey look, Crrool is trading a small key for a small key. I definitely feel like I've seen this before. Didn't quite could see what was down in the dark area, but unless it's silver arrows or another sword upgrade, it probably wasn't important. Oh, Kemps, you didn't check the last chest! Oh no! And Crrool has found a compass. And Crrool's gonna open up this big chest and be greeted with a very large map. And that means there's an item on Helmosaur. And this has been a seed where both players had pretty much the same route for most of it. Then that vital difference, Mire for Kemps and the Smiths for Crrool, has made this race go in 2 completely separate directions. Kemps has to be a bit worried here with 3 hearts. And at this stage, the only item that we as viewers really need to care about is silver arrows. Possibly the final sword upgrade, but more so the silver arrows. If either of our player ends up finding them, well, that book could lead to the silver arrows, just saying. Kemp's gonna take a death warp here. So book is in Turtle Rock, and that means he may just opt to check the ether tablet immediately after Turtle Rock. But the silver arrows, if one player gets it and the other one don't, that is a critical advantage for them. The Ganon fight is significantly faster with silver arrows over standard tempered. Oh, and Kemp's extremely unfortunate fall. Crrool now entering Helma's King. You need 17 hits with the hammer to get through the first phase. His fireballs were not very nice, and the big key in a pretty straightforward location for Kemps. Get a few more hits. This fight has not been particularly nice with those fireballs. Just going to slash the king down and get his crystal from Palace of Darkness. And there is an item here on Helma's King, and it is just an arrow capacity upgrade. So Crrool, you have an option. You can go into Mire, which you can't beat, and get the cane. Or you can use the mirror to go into Eastern. What are you going to do after this mirror? Will you menu? No, you will go into Eastern. And we know this is not the right call, but in this situation for Crrool, it is fully understandable to make this decision. He can go straight to Armos, kill Armos, get the green pendant, that's 2 items, and open up the pedestal, that's 3 items. And after that, what does he have left? Spy Cave and Mire, I think. And here's another little thing here. Kemps has to basically make this check into Mimic Cave, and that's also going to take some time. But once again, if Silvers is here, Crrool is almost certainly not going to get it. Mimic Cave with a shield. So we've seen another shield on the Hylia Island, I believe, but I can't recall the final shield. We've even seen that. Another small key for Kemps. Thus far, he's found the book here in Turtle Rock. Oh, Crrool, unfortunately not getting the 1 cycle on the double Igors. Well, let's see if we can set up this quick kill on the Knights. We need 18 arrows. Assuming you can get that. Compass for Kemps. Crrool not getting the quick kill, but still very fast indeed. 20 rupees, and the green pendant, and the pedestal. Kemps is crossing the massive gap. Will soon be at Laser Bridge. Nicely done using the hookshot to avoid taking damage. And Sahasrara, what do you have for us? 20 rupees. Kemps is going to use the cane. He's going to get a small key in the first chest. That's really good for Crrool. The map in the second, 20 rupees in the third. And now it's all the magic. Crrool is making the trip to the pedestal. Possibly. Yeah, he is. Oh, Kemps is struggling a lot to get this final chest. Little does he know that unless that is silvers, it's not really going to help him. Well, that's a lot of money, but it's not required at this point. Possibly you may want to stock up on some blue potions later on. Kemps will soon enter his boss fight, and with that, Crrool is taking the stand on the pedestal as the pennants are rising to the sky, and from the pedestal shall rise 20 rupees! That was pretty disappointing. Anyway, I guess it's Spy Cave or Mire. Mire it is for Crrool, and with that, he is soon going to be in go mode. Kemps on the Trinex fight. One head is down, has the fire rod already up. First phase is finished. Kemps needs one more hit. Actually, even more, one more. You need one more until you get all the one mores, and then the boss is going to fall, and with that he only has a single crystal left, but he still needs to get that bow from the boots. And another full heart reveal for both our players, sitting on 17 hearts red mail. So Kemps, Spy Cave, Ether Tablet, Bumble's Tablet, do the Smiths or Pod, and you will early on find out that Pod is bow locked. And Crrool is, when he sees that big key, he's gonna be rather worried, knowing that, oh, this could have been such a perfect Mire. If only I had that cane, because I could just move over here, pick up that small key, and perhaps I'm just gonna check this one chest, and oh look, it's cane and I'm in go mode. So that's go mode for Crrool. He needs to do Mire, and then he needs to head over into Turtle Rock, as Kemps is checking out the Ether Tablet. I feel like I've already seen 20 rupees to seed. So at this point, Kemps must hurry up as fast as he can to do the Smiths. Crrool will have to do Turtle Rock after this. It's still a fairly long dungeon, but he's not going to be forced to make another mandatory climb up to Death Mountain. Kemps, meanwhile, needs to do Pod, and I'm pretty certain the big key was in the lone turtle room in the northern part. Oh, Kemps. I'm so sorry, Kemps, but this is not a decision that is beneficial to you in this race. When you think about it, if Kane is in Mire, maybe the bow is in Pod. That is absolutely a possibility. Crrool is taking down these eyes and will soon only have a single eye left to deal with. And we're still looking for silver arrows, of course, wherever they could be. Possibly they won't be found. Crrool instead opting to use some arrows since he does have the bow for this. The giant eye falls, and with that he is heading to Turtle Rock. And Kemps, no bottle glitch for you. You have to leave. Right here, right now. And for our sake, we are hoping you will head to the Smiths. Crrool is bringing out the flute and ready to head over to Death Mountain. Where will you fly, Kemps? You are making the trip, the right trip. But where will you go when you enter the Dark World? Crrool will soon be up on Turtle Rock. Kemps needs to do the Smiths to get the boots, and then head to Bonk Rocks and get the bow. And he is doing the Smiths. But let us see if he's gonna go through with the lunchbox after this. Because that is going to take some valuable time for him. And of course, Kemp still has these hammer pegs. Crrool checked these as well, and there was nothing there. I can't even remember what it was. Kemps will make a quick exit as Crrool is making his entrance to Turtle Rock known. The big key was pretty early on, and I think the small key was on the first chest on Laser Bridge. So Kemps, where are you going with those boots? I think he's gonna do the lunge. But maybe he's gonna take it and then head up and check Bonk Rocks first and not use the mirror. No, he's using the mirror! It still makes a lot of sense for Kemps to do this. We just know that it's the wrong call. Crrool is gonna find the books. I just hope that Kemps is not going to take this opportunity to check Bombo's tablet. Me and my foul mouth, what have I done? Once again, it makes a lot of sense for him to check this item location since it is so close by, and the item locations he has available to him are all kind of spread out. Can the ledges please behave so you only need to mirror once, thanks? Meanwhile, Crrool is making his play into Turtle Rock. And he will be heading towards Trinex in due time. More love, and that's the seed in a nutshell. Just so many hearts all over the place. And Kemp still has the Pyramid Fairy left to do. I just remembered. It's just extremely unfortunate to watch at this point, as Crrool, this is his race to lose at this point. He has a decisive lead. He's soon going to be in Ganon's tower. The bomb is going to explode, reveal a hole. Inside the hole, a fountain with 20 rupees and 20 rupees. And the guards just disturbing him so much, can't even flute away. Took a little bit of time to think while deciding. But this looks like the straightforward path to get the bow at Bonk Rocks. Or no. Yes. But here's the sad state of affairs. He's gonna be in go mode with this bow, but Crrool is going to be at Trinex in 1 second. Crrool a bit interesting here, opting to use the Fire Rod first to take care of the Ice Head. You don't often tend to see this. And he did not manage to switch over to the Ice Rod, and sadly you cannot open your menu while there are explosions. So definitely having some issues here getting Trinix down. He's opting to use his blue potion just for safety. And with that, he only has this one final phase left to do before he's going to grab his final crystal and head into Ganon's tower. And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. There are 22 possible item locations inside of Ganon's tower where the big key can be. Get your guesses in, and if you are a subscriber to any of the Speed Gaming channels and or have donated a total of 250 bits, you guessed right, you'll be entering the leaderboard. Do get these guesses in very quickly, because we will soon be at Ganon's tower. And personally, I pick 3 because I don't like Bob. Very short trip for Crrool, as he will be inside of Ganon's tower. You tend to start off by checking these first 2 item locations over on the left side, or right side, I mean, my bad. And then we'll see whether or not you find a small key. 2 small keys. This is the original route that players used to take. 2 chests on the right and head over to the left. Right side was considered a gamble back in the day, but nowadays right side is basically the standard. Oh, the shovel is on the torch. That makes me really sad. Number 4 is going to be our final bottle. Number 5 is small key. Number 6 is the cape. And number 7 is 20 rupees. Finding all these final safety items up here on Ganon's Tower. Number 8 is going to be the Uncle Bomb Start item. 10 bombs! Massive value, but not at this point of the race. Kemps is making his way through Palace of Darkness, but unfortunately he is significantly far behind at this point. And here we will have chest number 9 coming up. More love. I don't think Crrool needs more than those 18 hearts. And now time for the 4 items in the Randomizer room, known for its name because that's the only time you visit this place. Number 10, 5 rupees. Number 11, a piece of heart. Number 12, a single rupee. And number 13 is the compass. So we will have 14 coming up, and then the 3 items behind Ice Armos. Crrool does not quite get that bonk across, and instead has to take the teleports. Thing is, he has no idea how big of a lead he has. A simple bonk across. He's gonna grab the fairy and get the blue boomerang in chest number 16. Did I say 16? I meant 14, my bad. And Crrool also does have to do an Armos fight today as Kemps is making his way through Helmasaur King. And as Ice Armos has fallen relatively quickly, number 15 is our final sword, number 16 is a small key, and number 17 is silver arrows! Ice Armos guarding all the goodies inside of Ganon's Tower, but not the big key, it's on each side. So we have just a few item locations left now, only 5 remain. And Kemps is now done with the crystal farming, has all 7 he needs to enter Ganon's Tower. And here's the thing, even if Kemps opts to go for the right side to get this big key, he will not have silver arrows. This is Crrool's last bit of magic. Let's see how he opts to handle this now. Using the green potion you found earlier in Ganon's Tower. I like that. Number 18, 50 rupees. Number 19 is our big key. As Crrool will make his way up the tower. And congratulations to Wafflum for being our first sub and or supporter to guess right. Crrool also got all the small keys he needs for the top part of Ganon's tower. Crrool now at the gauntlet, has all the equipment in the world, as long as the Stalfos wants to behave. Will Camps take the right side? He's gonna take the right side. He's gonna get the big key faster, but he's not gonna have the silver arrows. Sword upgrade doesn't matter all that much, but the silver arrows is very significant. Crrool is still a little bit low on those arrows. I mean, 9 remaining. We have to be a little bit careful with them. Using the power that gets the fairy, but this actually changes the spawn rate of these Landmolas, because they actually begin to load in the room before, and that's why 2 of them loaded at pretty much the same time, but the third was a little bit off. You can either fix this by going back to the room to the right and then rush all the way over to the left to get the normal pattern, or you just continue to wait in that room, then move in, and then you can get all 3 to spawn at the exact same time. Crrool will be using these sweet cane strats. Sadly, these wrist ropes, not as kind as the previous ones. Crrool is dashing through the bridge. Kemps opening up here with these mimics. And I think Crrool does have to pick up this full magic refill here to have all the magic he needs for the upcoming room. That bomb was not quite right. That bomb is much more right. Kemps entering the main part of the gauntlet. Crrool is not interested in any more hearts. He feels safe with the amount he has. Moving into Moldorm 2. 1 slash. And 2. The life of a Moldorm. And after the explosions are gone, take out the hook shot, hook across. Yeah, more love, because that is the signature of this seed. All those hearts. For people just tuning in to this final part of the race, Silver Arrows, we're on the west side behind Ice Armos in Ganon's tower. But the big key was on the right side. 2 hits for Crrool in this first phase of Aga 2. Maybe that was 2, possibly only 1. And the Mandatory Blue Ball always comes in at some point. Needs a couple of more hits as Kemps is trying to get down this Landmolas here. A little bit early with the spin, but does get it down. And with that, Aga 2 has been taken down by Crrool, and he'll be moving on to the one final challenge of the randomizer. which he is fully equipped to handle. That spike wasn't all that kind. And here we go with our Ganon fight. You do need 6 hits with the tier 4 sword to move through each phase. Phase 1 is done and moving into phase 2, and should soon be at phase 3, getting the simple 1 cycles. A lot of hits from those bats. What do you have in store? A red potion? Seems pretty good. And 4 more hits for phase 3. Two more hits. He's taking out the lamp. He's playing this safe. Kemps here, still looking for those silvers. Oh, there's our final shield. Good to know. Finally found it. Crrool now on this final phase. And the arrows have indeed been found by Crrool. He gets the torch glitch. And that's our first, and that's our second. Nice double here coming up first for Crrool. Only gets a single there, needs 1 more hit. The final strike gets the teleportation first, but will connect with the 4th and final silver arrow. And ladies and gentlemen, Crrool is going to take home the victory in this race and go up to a score of 3-2 moving forward in this tournament. Good game, well played. And Crrool is going to finish with an official speed racing TV time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 45 seconds. We'll see if we can get Crrool in here for an interview, and there we go. That is actually Crrool joining us at this moment. Good game, well played.
Thank you. That was quite the match.
So how did you think about that seed?
I mean, when I didn't see the red cane on the pedestal, I was like, yeah, okay, this is over. I've lost. I had to go for the pedestal. I mean, let's be fair, pedestal, but at that point, I thought it was over.
Well, on the other hand, it wasn't as you won this match. What do you overall think about your routing?
I mean, my routing wasn't bad. It was just a lot of the wrong plays. Like, towards the end of the early part, where we were in the light world, I kind of started to more and more get a hunch of, okay, yeah, this has to be an Aghanim's. And then I find the hookshot unlocking like a bunch of chests on Death Mountain. I'm like, well, okay, maybe not. And then, you know, like it was a lot of things like that, where it was like I was going one direction because I basically had like 2 or 3 options, and it was always the wrong one, or at least so it felt.
So you felt you were behind for most of the seed?
Oh yeah, for sure. I really did.
Well, as it turns out, you both had pretty much the same route, and the big diversion was that Kemps went into Mire, whereas you got yourself the boots into Bow, and that just allowed you to finish the seed faster.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I saw the boots at the blacksmiths, and I kind of knew, like, okay, that's a place that he either has checked way before I did, but then again, it was locked behind Swamp Palace anyway. Or he's gonna leave it for a while, in which case I might have a shot. And then when I saw the bow coming out of that, I was like, okay, that's cool. But that means that there is also a lot of stuff that he can't have checked before doing that. So, you know, I was kind of torn on where I was standing in that regard.
I can clearly see that, and Was there ever a worry about Sora having a potential glove, since you didn't have enough money when you went to Sora at the beginning?
Yeah, that was a concern of mine as well. It had been until I later on checked Zora and figured, okay, well, I didn't miss anything there. We're fine. This is going to be okay.
And both gloves were found in Swamp. Any general thoughts on that?
I mean, I love Swamp. I just love how that both ended up there. I mean, the first glove on the boss, and then I was kind of debating, should I go back? But there's 2 items still, so I figured I'll go back. And then you find the mushroom leading into the second gloves, like the Titan Smiths. I mean, that's just beautiful. I love those kind of little quirky things in a seed like this.
It was definitely quite a quirky seed in that regard, having to get both of the glove upgrades and Swamp, then having to enter Mire. And even though the cane was in Mire, it was still basically a go mode Mire that you could do.
Yeah, it was really early in Mire, luckily. I mean, Cane in Mire is just super trolly. I mean, let's be fair. There's 2 chests, there are 2 items in there. One item is locked or is on the boss, so you can't access that without the cane. So at that point, I kind of figured, okay, I'll just check everything else first, or at least all the main spots that I kind of wanted to do. Which worked out. I mean, granted, the pedestal, maybe not my best play, but then again, like I said, I love doing a pedestal check like that, and being able to go for that without losing a crazy amount of time logic-wise, I'll take that.
And with that, we also have d2kemps finishing off his seed with an official speed racing time of 2 hours, 12 minutes and 19 seconds, and he is already in here with us. Good game.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have to pull pedestal. I didn't have to even think about pedestal, because my go mode item was bow, and I assume that wasn't yours.
No, mine was the red cane. The cane of Samaria.
I'm just like looking over the seed, going like, I lost 5 minutes here, I lost 5 minutes there, I lost 5 minutes.
Same. I had that for a lot of places as well. I really thought you were ahead towards the end.
My map was clean. Like, literally 1 location left I could have checked before go mode.
I think mine as well. I'm trying to think if I had any left.
The only location I had left was King's Tomb.
No, I've checked that. No, I think I've actually checked everything.
I think only one of you checked Spy Cave.
Oh yeah, right. I didn't do that. I didn't check Spy Cave. I guess that's one that I could have still done, but
yeah, both lift upgrades in Swamp Palace.
I mean, I know,
Swamp
right?
Palace.
Oh, I mean, I love those little quirky things.
Who got there first? Me or you?
I'm kind of curious as well. Who found those gloves first? Do you guys happen to remember?
So you both routed basically the same. There was a few small variations in the get-go. One of you checked Ice Rock Cave earlier and got the hook shot, and a few things like that. But you mostly had the same route, and I don't know, you were maybe like 30 seconds apart or something like that on the gloves.
Okay. I'll take that.
This was a very close seed up to the moment where you diverted, and d2kemps got the cane in Mire, and Crrool got the boost into bow.
Yeah.
But up to that moment, it was extremely close to watch, and even after that, it continued to be extremely close, since after all, Crrool going through Eastern and getting the pedestal.
Yeah, collection rate 174. That says enough, I think.
18 hearts. 18 hearts, red mail, 4 bottles for you, Crrool, 3 for your Kemps. There was never any real worry of you dying at any point.
Well, like, except for the 3 times I did it intentionally.
And got the Sank heart.
That sucked. Why? Why? I was at 1 heart at the in the basement of Hera. Intentionally, and so I could death warp, and got the Sank heart in that chest.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't intending to death warp. I was way too high on health, but yeah, I can kind of see how that would screw you over.
165. So I guess you just checked locations faster.
I mean, it's a very small difference from the looks of it.
It was also the fact that d2kemps, you got the book in Turtle Rock, so you checked the tablets as well.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't. By that point, I was in go mode because, like I said, Red Cane was my my go mode item, so I could go mode all of T-Rock.
And also the Pyramid Fairy from d2kemps, since Meyer was the other 5/6 crystal.
Yep, same story there.
But in the end, it was just that one small routing diversion that essentially did decide that race. You both played extremely well and routed basically the same, very good on execution.
According to my chat, the item difference is mostly because I went left side where you went right side. I can see how that would make a difference in chests as well.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And of course, Ice Armors guarding both the final sword and the silver arrows also made a bit of a difference on the upcoming Ganon fight.
Yeah.
So for you, Crrool, your third victory in this tournament, 3-2. How do you feel going forward?
I mean, I was kind of hoping to be 4-1 by this point, but hey, I'll take it. I'll just keep going, get to the final 100, and make the best of it.
And as for you, Kems, sadly took a loss here in this. Sadly, quite unlikely you will be moving through to the next round. How do you feel moving forward in this tournament and your performance thus far?
I mean, I like standard mode much less than I did when I started this tournament, and I'm probably not going to be moving forward. I have to practice retro mode, so.
I can definitely see that. And do either of you have any final comments to make on the seed or in general?
God, this seed was awful. Like, absolutely awful.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, basically vanilla Cane. Essentially close to... Ice Rod was almost inside of Turtle Rock. You needed boots into Bow, both in the overworld. Like, this was just all over the place. Not to mention both gloves being in Swamp Palace of all places.
Yeah, it definitely was an awful seed. I mean, if the Cane of Samaria would have been on pedestal, I would have been slightly more hyped about this, and I would have accepted this. But 20 rupees on pedestal? I mean, come on. Nah, but it was a silly seed, and I mean, yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say about it. It was a silly seed.
It was truly something to behold from this position as well. But I'd like to thank both of you again for running today, and best of luck in the tournament coming up. And also, of course, to our viewers to follow both our runners here, Crrool and d2kemps. And I'd also like to thank our tracker, Demons Druid, for helping out behind the scenes. And be sure to follow all of our Twitch channels at Speed Gaming and ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 6. We also currently have 2 races going. We have Scooter 48812 versus Manic Ascendant over on Speed Gaming 3. And just about 15 minutes ago, CDV versus Akash started over on Speed Gaming 1. And in about 1 hour, 45 minutes, we will have Stinger PA versus BBB Kermit over on Speed Gaming 4. So be sure to continue to watch Randomizer, follow and support us as much as you can, as we all appreciate that, and also appreciate all of our runners, because without those, we wouldn't be doing this, and you wouldn't be able to watch this. And I've been Marjevich, and I've enjoyed my time here, and I hope to see you all in the not-too-distant future.